recorded with you. So you are going to find this sheet in your SMS folder, grade 8, module 2, study guide and videos. So you will find the video, the folder, this folder, the name of the folder is study guide and videos. You will find this sheet which we studied already today in the class. In this sheet, you will find all the details or all the lessons which we studied in this chapter and the descriptions, and I give you also an example. So for the first one, add exponents with the same base. This in case if you are going to multiplying exponents. Then x to the power of 8 times x to the power of 6 equal x to the power of 14. When you have a variable with the same variable like x and x, so we have to add the exponents together. Also, when we have same base like 3 to the power of 2, 3 to the power of 5. So we have to add them together because 3 is the same base. Any question about the first part?
No, thanks.
Let's move to the second type of questions. In case we have to multiply any coefficient terms, like 3x to the power of 4 times 5x to the power of 9. So we have coefficient in the first one, 3, and the second one we have 5. So we will multiply the coefficient together. 3 times 5, it will be 15. After that, second step, we have x to the power of 4, x to the power of 9. So we have, what do you notice? What do you notice, grade 8?
Miss, can you say the question again, please?
Again, we have 3x to the power of 4 times 5x to the power of 9. We
Miss,
start.
we will make 3 multiply 5.
Exactly. So we will make 3
equal 15.
multiplied by 5.
So
And then we
plus
will.
and the raising powers will make 4 plus 9 equal 13.
Equal 13.
15 x power 13.
Thank you so much. Yes, exactly. Let's move to the next part, which is raising a power to a power. Raising power to a power, multiply the exponents. When we have x to the power of 3 all to the power of 5, which means we have a power above the parentheses. In this case, we have to distribute the exponents to the exponents above the variable, which means we are going to multiply 3 times 5. Then the answer, it will be x to the power of 15. Let's move to the next question. 2x power 4 all to the power of 3. When we have an exponent above the parentheses, so you have to use exponents and you will go to distribute it above the number inside the parentheses. Here, the exponent was how many? The exponent was 1. And for the second, the exponent was 4. Then we will distribute for the first one like this, okay? And we will multiply. Then we have 2 will be the same. 3 multiplied by 1 equal 3. X the same. 4 times 3, it will be equal 12. By the end, we have to expand 2 to the power of 3. It will be equal to, because 2 to the power of 3 means 2 times 2 times 2. To the answer, it will be 8x to the power of 12. Okay, let's move to the next part. When we are going to divide, or we dividing exponents. Dividing exponents, we are going to subtract. Yes.
Miss, can I ask a question on that? The first, the multiply exponents. Can
Yes.
you repeat the second one?
This one, 2x to the power of 4. Okay, with all my pleasure. For this question, you have 2x to the power of 4 all to the power of 3, which means already you have a parenthesis, right? And the exponent was 3. Inside the exponent, you have 2 x
Power 4.
to the power of 4. Once you have exponent above the parentheses, so you have to distribute the exponent over both two numbers inside the parentheses by multiplication. But the power for the exponent above 2 here was how many? 2 to the
Was
power of
1.
what? To the power of 1. Then we are going to keep 2 the same, and we will multiply 3 times 1. It will be equal 3.
3.
And then we have x. 4 multiplied by 3, it will be equal how many? It will be equal 12. Now we have 2 to the power of 3. We are going to expand this number. 2 to the power of 3 means 2 times 2 times 2. So it will be 8x to the power of 12. Okay? Do you want another question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Could you please try to answer this question with me? 3x power 2 y power 3 all to the power of 3. Please try to solve this question and tell me the answer. What is the first step we have to do it here?
We will distribute the 3 with the you distribute.
Exactly. We note that in this question that already we have an exponent above the parentheses, right? This one.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we will start to distribute it over all the numbers or all the exponents. So for the first one, I have 1. Then I'm going to distribute by what? By multiplication. Second and then third. By the end, we have 3 to the power of what?
To the power 3.
To the power of 3. And then we have x.
X power
To the power 2 times 3, it will be equal 6. And the third one, it will be y. 3 times 3, it will be equal 9. What we have to do the last step, we are going to simplify 3 to the power of 3. It will be 27 x to the power of 6 y to the power of 9. Right?
Yes.
Understood this part, my dear students?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move to the next question. The next question, when we have coefficient, divide any coefficient term, like 18x to the power of 8 over or divided by 3x to the power of 2. We will imagine that we are going to divide this one into 2 parts. How? We will start to divide the coefficient, which means 18 divided by 3. Then 18 divided by 3, it will be how many? It will be equal 6. And then you will subtract the exponents. 8 minus 2 to the answer, it will be 6x to the power of 6. Any question about this?
No.
Let's move to the next part. Raise the numerator and the denominator to the power. What do you notice here? What do you notice? We have what? We have what?
We have 3, so
yes,
3 we will distribute it.
Yes, so we have to distribute it over all the powers which we have. 3, it has an exponent 1. 5, it has an exponent 1. Then we will start to distribute the exponents over all of them as we said before. So even if you have a fraction, which means it consists of numerator and denominator, so we have to distribute the exponents above all of them. Then it will be 3 to the power of 3 which it will be 27. And this one, it will be x 3 times 1, it will be x to the power of 3. 5 to the power of 3, it will be equal 125. Understood this part? Let's move to the next part with a negative exponents. Negative exponents, we said before, if you want to simplify any negative exponent, so you have to do what?
1 over like 1 over
Exactly.
4.
Yes, we have to transfer the number to the denominator, and then we will change the negative exponents to becomes positive exponents, right? Then the x to the power of negative 4, it will be equal 1 over x to the power of 4. What about if you have already 1 over x to the power of negative 5? I want to change the negative exponent to become positive. So we have
To remove the negative, and we
yes,
will
we
make
will
5
remove it.
power, x power 5, sorry.
Thank you, Jim. Yes, exactly. But let me give you a question. In case if you have x to the power of 2 over y to the power of 3 all to the power of negative 2. How we can solve this question? Again, x to the power of 2 over y to the power of 3 all to the power of negative 2. In this case, we can switch the numerator with the denominator inside the parentheses, which means I'm going to make y to the power of 3 over x to the power of 2. And now I can change the negative exponents to becomes positive
Positive.
exponents, right? So once you have negative exponents and inside the parentheses you have a fraction, so we are going to flip it. And now it will become normal to distribute the exponents, which means it will be 3 times 2, it will be equal 6. And down I have x, 2 times 2, it will be equal 4.
4.
Right? Any questions so far till now?
No.
Okay, let's
Oh.
move to the next part. For the next part, we have any number raised to 0 powers equal what? Equal 1.
1.
So we have 4 to the power of 0 should be equal 1. 3x all to the power of 0 should be equal 1. Let me give you a question, grade 8. Could you please tell me the answer if I have 3x to the power of 0? It will be equal how many? And 3x all to the power of 0, it will be equal how many? Could you please tell me the answer for the first one?
Let the possible be 1, because we have a 0.
The answer for the first question, it will be how many?
1.
No. The answer for the first question, it will be only 3. Why? Because in this case, the power or the power 0, it's above only x. Then x to the power of 0 equal 1. And 3 multiply by 1 equal how many? Equal 3. But the second case, not that you have a parentheses and above the parentheses you have power 0. So the answer, it will be equal 1. So please take care about this type of questions. You have to care about where is the exponent 0. It's above the variable only or above the parentheses. You got this point, grade 8? Understood this point?
Yes.
Okay. Let me move to the next part. The next part, this is for converting a scientific notation. To converting scientific notation, so the number is written here in a standard notation, and this is the big number. It has many zeros, and we want to write it in a scientific notation. Then we have to move a decimal point from right to the left, right? So we can't see any decimal point here, but it's there, but it's invisible, right? So we can imagine that the decimal point is there before the number. Then we will start to move and we are going to count. So this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So we will stop in this point. So the answer, it will be 4.5 times 10 to the power of 7. Then how we will explain this, then you will find explanations here how we are going to change the big number to write it in a scientific notation. When you look at the second example, this is a small number. Did you see how many zeros after the decimal point? In case if I want to write this number in a scientific notation, so we have to move to the right. Once you are going to move to the right, which means the exponent should be negative, then you will count with me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you will stop here to leave only one digit. Let me say again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we will stop. Why? Because we have to keep only one number more than 0 or 1 or equal to or more 1 and less than 10. Okay, so this is how you are going to describe it by a negative exponent. It was a big number and you move to the left side. So once you will move to the left side, so we have to say that it should be a negative exponent. The opposite, once you will move to, sorry, this one to the right side, so the sign, it will be negative. To the left side, so the sign, it should be equal positive. Okay, then when we will continue, so here we have another question with the opposite. When you have a scientific notation and you want to change it into standard form, so you have to remove x to the power of 6. And how we are going to remove it? We will move the decimal point and 2 digits, and we are looking for more 4 digits. For this reason, we are going to put 4 zeros. Then move the decimal place 6 places to the right. A positive exponent means your number is greater than 10. And the opposite, in case if you want to work with a negative exponent, so we have to move a decimal point to the left. I'm looking for 5 digits, so you will move, you have already 1, then you have to add 4 more zeros. This is for converting scientific notation into standard notation. A last part with multiplying and dividing scientific notation. If you are going to multiply, then you will collect the numbers together. Then 4 times 7 becomes 28. And 10 to the power of 5 and 2, we are going to add them together. So it will be 10 to the power of 7. Now, 28 times 10 to the power of 7, it's not in scientific notation. Where is the decimal point? The decimal point is there. So we have to move to the left. We said once you have to move to the left, then you have to add 1 to the exponents. So the answer by the end, it will be 2.8 times 10 to the power of 8.
Miss, can I ask a question, please?
Yes, sure.
Miss, we should put the decimal on, and we should put the decimal one in the exam. We do not put the decimal. Will be the answer wrong?
Yes, because once, yani, if you are going to keep the question like this, if we will imagine that you stop with this one, okay? So this one, it's not in scientific notation. And the question said what? Simplify to the power scientific notation. Yes, for this reason, you have to put the decimal point. So this number, it doesn't have any decimal point. No, it's there, but it's invisible. It's before the number. So we have to move to the left. Once you are going to move to the left, then you will add 1 to the actual exponent, which it was 7. So it will become 8. Is this your question, Kenzie?
Yes.
Okay. And if we will move to divide the coefficient, subtract the exponents, and simplify the power, then 3 to the times 10 to the power of 9 times 6 times 6 times 10 to the power of 4. We are going to divide the first part, 3 divided by 6. So in simplest form, it will be equal half. We will subtract the exponents 9 minus 4. It will be 10 to the power of 5. Now we can change 0.5 into decimal. So 0.5 times 10 power 5. This question, it has decimal point, but it's not belong to the scientific notation because the number before the scientific notation is 0. So we will not accept. Why? Because we said that A should be more than or equal 1 and less than 9 and less than 10, right? This is the condition. So the number before the decimal point, it could be 1 and more, but it should be less than 10. So we can't accept 10. For this reason, we put in the left side more than or equal, and we put there less than 10. This point is clear, grade 8?
Yes.
Okay, let's continue. For adding and subtracting, in this question, you have 3 times 10 to the power of 7 plus 5 times 10 to the power of 9. We will change. In this question, we have different ways to solve the question. The first way, you have 10 to the power of 7 and you have 10 to the power of 9. So I can divide 10 to the power of 9 into 2 parts. 10 to the power of 2 times 10 to the power of 7. Now I'm going to multiply 5 times 10 to the power of 2. 10 to the power of 2 means what? Means 100. Then 5 times 100, it will be 500. Now we have 10 to the power of 7 and I have 10 to the power of 7. So we are going to take it as a common factor. Okay, so we will take 10 to the power of 7 as a common factor. So the rest should be equal 3 plus 500. And we took 10 to the power of 7 as a common factor. For this reason, you have 500, 3 times 10 to the power of 7. But again, this number, it's not belong to scientific notation. So we have to put the decimal point, and I'm going to move to the left 2 digits. Once you are going to move to the left 2 digits, then you are going to add 2 to the exponent 7. By the end, the answer it will be 5.03 times 10 to the power of 9. There is another method we explained in the class how we can solve this question. Let me explain it to you. We have already 3 times 10 to the power of 7 plus 5 times 10 to the power of 9. We are looking for make the both two numbers have the same exponents. Then I'm going to decrease 10 to the power of 9 to make it 10 to the power of 7. If you want to decrease, so we have to move to the right or to the left?
To the left?
If I want to decrease this number, if I want to decrease 10 to the power of 9.
No, sorry, you will move right because it will be like 10 negative 9.
10,
It's negative 7.
if we will move here, it was 3 times 10 to the power of 7, right? We said once you will move to the right, you will add 1 to the exponents. Once you will move to the left, you will decrease the exponents, which means this, the decimal point. So I'm going to move 1, 2. We want only to decrease it by 2. So it will be 0.05 times 10 to the power of 7. Why? To make 10 to the power of 7, 10 to the power of 7. So we will take 10 to the power of 7 as a common. We will open up parentheses and collect the remainder. So this is 3 plus 0.05. So the answer, it will be by the end. When we simplify this, it will be 3.05 times 10 to the power of 7, right? So we have different methods to solve the same question. This method to make the both 10 to the power have the same. You want to decrease 9 to make it 7, then you have to move to the left, as I said. We want to move 2 digits, so we have only 1. For this reason, we add another 0. Okay? Different methods, choose the way which you prefer. By the end, we are looking for the final answer and it should be correct. Okay, so as I said in this sheet, we revised all. After that, you will find review questions. This is the type of questions which you will expect to as an applications about this lesson due when you take the test. So this is a part or a samples for all the questions which we can have it in our exam. So this is the part which already started today in our class, and we are going to continue tomorrow, inshallah.